Broadcasting from Manhattan Beach and the World Wide Web, you're listening to CHSR, HealthyLife.net.
As a service to our listeners, this program is for general information and entertainment purposes only. CHSR HealthyLife.net does not recommend, endorse, or object to the views, products, or topics expressed or discussed by show hosts or their guests. We suggest you always consult with your own personal, medical, financial, or legal advisor.
We think pretty is pretty important in all things in beauty. Welcome to RadioAMB, designed for those who want to live a long and vibrant life. I'm Patty Schmucker, and I'm a licensed cosmetologist who's been in the beauty industry for over 40 years. RadioAMB stands for American Made Beauty, and it's where we tell the secrets behind the making of health and beauty products. Our program sponsor today is AmericanMadeBeauty.com. A beauty platform designed to help consumers find trustworthy beauty brands that are following FDA standards to bring you quality products and services. Go to AmericanMadeBeauty.com to shop beauty products, read more in-depth stories about the interviews you hear on RadioAMB, and if you're a brand, learn more about reaching domestic and international customers. Go to AmericanMadeBeauty.com. Today we're going to cover a lot of ground. In our feature interview, we'll learn about an iconic brand that has heritage from one of the royal families of Europe and has gone through a brand refresh by one of America's top beauty executives. Sara Stein, you'll hear a little bit about her career before taking a leadership role at Borghese Skincare and how she's leading the way to give this iconic brand new life here in America. During the second half of our show, we'll learn about another Sara Dudley of the Sun Care Company. We'll learn about new technologies in sunscreens and things you'll want to be knowing if you're enjoying this spring ski season or planning for summer this fun. So let's get started. Our first guest today is Sara Stein, the Executive Vice President of Sales and Marketing at Borghese Skincare. She joined the organization in 2016 with a background in brand strategy, integrated marketing, and strategic leadership. Working frequently with founders, she's expanded her vision while strengthening brand equity. Prior to Borghese, Sara was the Vice President of Corporate Development at Marketing Inc., a millennial-focused experiential marketing agency. Sara's expertise in the beauty industry has been with giant companies and brands including P&G Prestige, Dolce & Gabbana, Gucci, Burberry, Wella, Estee Lauder, Frederic Fekkai, and even Chanel. Direct from New York, welcome, Sara Stein. We're delighted to have you with us.
Thank you, Patty. I'm delighted to be with you, so thank you.
So our audience always loves to hear the human interest story, how people got into the business, and what was sort of that moment, that aha moment that said, this is really what I want to be doing.
Okay, so my moment's kind of funny. I was in my early 20s in advertising, and my girlfriends refused to go on beauty shopping trips with me anymore. They just said, you know, Sara, that product you're looking for has not been invented yet, and I can't take it. So, literally refused. So I decided, at that moment, I was going to go to business school, and I was going to focus only on beauty. And so I went to business school, and I only did projects on beauty companies. And these guys would invite me to be on their teams. And I'd be like, fine, I'm happy to be on your team, because they wanted someone, you know, they're pure numbers guys. I'm like, I am happy to be on your team, but we're doing it on a beauty company. And it was so funny. So that was the moment. And someone will still shop with me for beauty products. I have my little daughter who comes along, and that's it.
And then she'll put up with she'll put up with the passion and the thirst for something new and different.
Exactly.
Great. And so tell us about your career. Where did you go to college?
I went to Colgate in upstate New York, which, you know, I'm from California, and I absolutely loved Colgate, so that was definitely a big jump.
And what was it at Colgate that got your attention?
I'm like, even though I've lived in New York for all these years, I'm a real Californian, and when someone from the school came to visit me at home, they loved the school so much, I knew that's where I wanted to go. And I loved the school. I mean, I absolutely loved it, and so, you know, it was the right place for me. It was great.
And so, college degree, what did you get your degree in?
So I majored in history. I love history, and I look at everything through a historical lens. But I joke that my favorite class was in Italian Renaissance art history, which, you know, I lived in Italy. I studied Italian, and so, you know, my love of the Italian lifestyle really started in college.
And so how does, knowing that you wanted to do beauty, but getting a major in history, I get that one, because the reality is that lifestyle products is all about understanding the behaviors of human beings and understanding it through time. That one makes a lot of sense. But what was it about your college degree that really helped you in the beauty industry?
I think it's the perspective.
Uh-huh.
And I'll just to give an example, I was at a meeting for Borghese, and this is when I just joined the company, and a board member asked me a question. You know, we restaged the brand, and we went from being a large size to a smaller size, and I just looked at it from a historical perspective, and that's the way I see everything. I think you learn a lot from history, and you know, the way I see things. I love people, you know, and history, the way I see history, it's all about the people. It's not the events, it's the people behind the events. So, you know, it just changed the way I think.
And so give us an example of how your history perspective helped as you began working with the Borghese brand.
Okay, sure. So you know, Borghese, our Fango mud was in a large 17.6-ounce jar. And you know, we've redesigned everything, and it's now in a much smaller package. And a board member said, you know, why would we have put it in such a large jar? And I said, you know, in the late 90s, which is, you know, when I started in beauty, the retailers really wanted larger sizes, and that was the trend. And I was at Frederick Fekkai then, and Neiman Marcus said, please, can I have a 16-point-ounce shampoo? And of course, we created it for them. And I said, but the world's changed, and things are more special and precious now. So it's really just a different way of looking at products and how the how people perceive things.
Right. Yeah, and smaller is perceived to have some bit of a charm and an exclusivity to it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It's special. It's you know, we think about the ingredients, and in the late 90s, you know, a lot's changed since then. People wanted bigger and better, and you know, so it's a different way of thinking about things, and that the world's changed.
Right. So throughout your career, you've been in beauty, but I also know from my discussion with you and from doing a little research that you really have been a change agent. Can you talk about a couple of those situations that really stand out as being interesting moments of change in your career?
Sure. So the brand, I feel like every role I've gone into, I've either been defined a brand or defined a new role. So when I went to Estee Lauder, I was in charge of Christmas, which makes me laugh because I think, you know, Santa's in charge of Christmas or something. But it was a global role, and it never existed before. So I got to define what it was and work with my different counterparts in different countries, so they were happy, because if they didn't like what I created for them, they didn't have to order it. So you know, so that was exciting. And then when I went to P&G Prestige, and I worked super closely with Aaron Lauder, so that was, I mean, amazing. Mm-hmm. And then when I went to P&G Prestige, it didn't exist before I got there. Mm-hmm. So there, I was on the global task force, and I used to joke that I was the voice of America, because I'd show up at these meetings and I represented the U.S. Uh-huh. So just really defining what it could be. So, you know, and you know, that's been, I think, everywhere I've been, that's been my path. So, and, you know, that's what gets me super excited, and that's what I think drew me to Borghese. I could see the potential.
And so, before I go there, as far as the Borghese, I wanted that piece that you talked about, as far as you were the voice of America. And what at P&G? What was P&G prestige, and being able to define that? How do you do that? How do you? That was such a huge weight, fun weight, but nice weight on your shoulders. What was your inspiration that you would go to really be defining what would serve an entire population of women in America?
Well, so the Prestige headquarters were in Geneva, Switzerland, and so I'd go there, and I knew what the U.S. market needed, just because I love to work in store. That's one of my secret fun things to do. I talk to everyone, so I knew what we wanted, mm-hmm. And then I also knew what the global market's like, because for my life at P&G, my life at Estee Lauder, and just coaxing them into seeing things in a different way. Mm-hmm. So I was the only American in the room, and I would raise my hand very modestly and say, well, wouldn't you like to ship your products earlier? And they were like, oh, we never thought of that, and just being really, really careful not to step on anyone's toes. And then the UK would they generally liked my ideas, but then if I could get France to agree with me, I would say to the team leader, the U.S. and the French market have nothing in common. If we both want this, you have to do it. Uh-huh. And so just being really, really mindful of my place in the room and getting the other countries to go along with me. But they just hadn't thought of that, because it never occurred to them to ask for that. So.
Right. Well, and that is the interesting thing about brands being able to go international. We always think about foreign brands coming here or trying American companies to serve foreign markets, and having to develop that mindset that you can't expect that the same thing that works in the U.S. is going to work somewhere else, but it's true the other way around as well.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell our audience exactly what is Borghese. Where did it start, and what is it today?
Sure. So it started more than 60 years ago with Princess Marcella Borghese, and there was really her family formulas that were natural ingredients from the Borghese gardens in Rome, and inspired by her Tuscan spa retreat. So it was really just bringing her life to the world. And she, when she created her lipstick line, there were 7 fashion designers who each created a collection for each shade of lipstick. So what really drew me to her is, this is the 1950s, where TV dinners were being invented and being a princess was a full-time job. And here she was, a muse and a businesswoman, and also a wife and a mother and a creator. So I just felt her values were relevant to today. And this is my fun fact, is that my friend, who's like my big sister to me, was the princess's personal assistant years ago, and she still quotes her. So, I just felt that it was relevant, and I felt that the spa culture piece and the Italian version of spa culture was something that is how I think that Americans want to slow down and really savor that moment, which is hard to do in the digital age,
right.
Because it's so easy to be, checking your phone and doing a million things, and just to take that moment and be present, I think comes from the Italian lifestyle, which is interesting.
And it is very interesting, because I've heard this being mentioned about the Italian lifestyle having that influence. I also have read more recently a lot of J-beauty, beauty inspired from the Japanese culture, which is also about taking time and being present and that type of thing. So do you feel like part of the reason why this is a good time for Borghese in America is just because of the behavior and the cultural presence that we have right now?
That, and just because that, absolutely, and because the products are phenomenal.
Uh-huh.
I joke, if you look at my right hand, it looks like it's leading a very leisurely life, because I've done a million product demonstrations on my right hand, and seriously, it looks completely different than my left. And it's the products. And if I'm breaking out, I can use Fango, and it's gone. Mm-hmm. And it's the products, it's the story. I felt all of it together was really important for right now.
Right. So, at this point, the brand originated in Rome. Is it a product that continues to be made there, or is it being made here in the U.S. or what?
It's made in the U.S.
Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. And so tell us a little bit about the mud, because my daughter, who is now in New York and very successful and a mother of a strapping 15-year-old, her first job in college was working at the Borghese counter. So I remember, many, many years ago, having that when I told her, hey, I'm going to be interviewing Borghese for the show. She said, I loved that brand, and it's about the mud. Tell us about the mud.
The mud is phenomenal. It works in 3 to 5 minutes, and just my skin is radiant afterwards. Nothing works that fast and that effectively. And, we just introduced a new advanced Fango, which makes it it's even better, which is hard to imagine because I love our original Fango so much. But it works so fast and it's so effective, and the difference in my skin is tremendous. So this is kind of funny. I feel of this moment as being resilient is kind of a theme in the world, and our new advanced Fango has survivalist extracts, which are treated with enzymes to make your skin more resilient. So it really takes it to the next level.
And so where does the word Fango come from? What's the meaning of it, and what's the main ingredient that makes it work so well?
It means mud in Italian.
Okay.
I think, it's the formula. So, inspired by the Princess's Tuscan Spa Retreat, but it's really a complicated formula. It's triple batch. The lead time is so long, and it's the ingredients. It's really special ingredients. We import some things from the Tuscan region, in the Tuscan region, it's made in America, but we do have Italian ingredients. But it's a very complicated formula. So that's really what's giving it all its the benefits. It's the mud, but it takes it to the next level with the science that we applied to it.
Okay. And my understanding is that the Fango, which is we don't want to call it Fango mud because that's really mud. Right. So it's Fango, comes in several different forms. What are there are 3 or 4 different versions of it?
Sure. So there's Fango Active, which is, I put it on my T-zone for its normal to combination skin, and then really it purifies. And then Fango Delicato it's a more delicate version of, hence the name Delicato, of Fango Active. It's for skin that's more fragile. I put that on my cheeks. It's also purifying, but it has hydration properties, which I always need. Then we have Fango Uniforme, which brightens, and if I have discolorations, it evens them out. It has caffeine and coffee beans, so I was immediately drawn to that since I love coffee. But so that helps with discolorations, and then Reparativo is amazing because it has a deep hydration and it will also purifying. So I love to play tennis with my husband, and we play tennis, and my pores are enormous from sweating, but then my skin's also dry from being outside. So I use Fango Reparativo, and I've minimized the pores, and I've provided that hydration. So I use them all at different times and for different situations, often more than one at a time.
And so the whole idea of utilizing a mud for people who basically use soap and water, give us a little tutorial on why muds and how do you use them and how often?
Sure. So muds work incredibly fast, and especially ours, and they're very, it's just concentrated results. So I mask probably 2 times a week. I was going to say 1, but it's definitely 2. And after I wash my face, I dry it, and then I apply the mud thick. Ours you put on thick, and you take it off while it's still wet, which makes it really easy to remove, because if it dries, it's just hard to remove. And then I follow with our concentrate, which is a hydration, and it just provides a lot of hydration and minerals to my skin to really lock in all the work that Fango's done. So, twice a week, and it depends what your skin is addressing at that moment. Like for me, I'm always purifying, and then hydration is also pretty important.
Right. All right, well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about how MUDs work and why Sara has been involved in this reinvention of this iconic brand. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Over here. Here's a secret for a virus-free computer. ESET. They've been a pioneer in the antivirus industry for over 25 years. 25 years of innovative, top-rated antivirus protection. ESET's award-winning security solutions provide a safe online experience for over 100 million home and business computer owners. They are so affordable, fast, and simple to use. So be gone, you blue screen of death. ESET's on my computer. If it's not on yours, visit HealthyLife.net's advertiser page and click on ESET now.
Here's the thing about beauty. It's pretty. At AmericanMadeBeauty.com, we're all about the pretty, making it easy for you to find what makes your beauty shine. We have essentially everything you need, and AmericanMadeBeauty.com celebrates brands that were created right here in the U.S. of A. Imagine everything you need, from the best hair, skin, and nail products to makeup and even the tools, because it's all about pretty at AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We also think you're pretty important, so visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com. Browse, buy, learn. AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We're looking for a few good American beauty manufacturers who want to increase their brand in an exclusive credentialed category. If you're an American company who has conceived, designed, and bottled brands that are all about pretty, then we're pretty sure we're talking about you. And we're pretty sure you should be on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. This beauty website focuses on entrepreneurs and beauty startups as well as established brands. If it's pretty, we want to see it, and we want to sell it on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. To learn how you can be part of AmericanMadeBeauty.com, visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com now.
Welcome back. This is Patty Schmucker, and you're listening to RadioAMB on HealthyLife.net. Our guest today is Sara Stein, the Executive Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Borghese Skincare. And we've been talking about this iconic brand that came into the market 60 years ago, based in Rome, and now is being reintroduced, refreshed here in the U.S. market. So, Sara, tell us a little bit about why does a brand go through a refresh, and what particularly have you done in terms of bringing the brand into this brand refresh process?
Okay, so the brand, it's been in the U.S. for some time, and it was just a little neglected. As I said before, it was in larger packaging, which was so of the moment, in the late 90s, but it just was a little neglected in the packaging and its look. And so really I've been involved in every aspect, from the formulas. I think because we've introduced a lot of new products, so product development is always, the most important thing in having really effective formulas. And the packaging, I am a clumsy person, so I did not want it to be in glass anymore because, for safety. And so it's in a smaller jar. It's plastic. It's color-coded, and you can travel with it. And so just to be more practical. and the imagery of the brand, the new logo. I mean, we really have refreshed every aspect of it, and it's I've been on this journey 24/7, except when I'm taking a mask, then I'm still on the journey, and it.
And so when you do something like that, to something that has such history, what are some of the where do you get the indicators of what's going to work and what doesn't work?
Well, first I like to start with the DNA of the brand and what's true to it, because I think everything has to be meaningful to the brand. And then understanding what do we have that's unique to us, and what are people looking for? Because I think everything has to be, it's got to be like, is it going to be relevant to you? Otherwise, it doesn't really matter, And masks, just because they're so effective and we're all moving so fast, I just, I felt that it was right for Fango, for Borghese and for Fango. And then similarly, people know Fango, but they didn't know that there's a whole product line around it that, when you use it with the Fango, it's even more effective. So, I just felt it was a great opportunity. And because Fango was a bit neglected, a lot of people don't know it. So, it's like great to share such an amazing product.
And as I said, when I talked to my daughter about it, that's what she said. It was all about the mask. So when you're taking a formula that it's got 60 years of heritage, and yet it's time, there's been changes in cosmetic chemistry and delivery systems and that type of thing. How do you balance that, keeping the heritage but also bringing in innovation?
Well, first, it's got to start with the benefits,
mm-hmm.
and being true to the benefits, and then finding ways of what's changed in the world since we launched Fango, and what do we need to address.
Mm-hmm.
And the air and climate. So that's why creating a Fango that makes your skin more resilient was really relevant.
Mm-hmm.
And just the way you can treat extracts has changed too, to make them even more effective. Simply what I love about our new Fangos is for your skin to absorb extracts, it takes a lot of work. And so ours are treated with enzymes so that it's easier for your skin to get the benefits. So that's really, at the end of the day, that's what it's the most important.
Right. And is your team approaching the U.S. market? Because I would assume you continuing to grow the brand in Rome and in Italy. Are you approaching the U.S. market different?
Yeah, so, we've been based in the U.S. for some time. So the U.S. market is really our focus.
Okay.
And we love events and bringing it to life, because when you experience the Fango, you fall madly in love. And then when we have events, experiences, then you can, we share it on social, and we're sharing the experience. So, I did a makeup artist event for the Golden Globes, and again, introducing the brand, and then we could share that, a broader audience to learn about Borghese, because so many people just, they didn't know about it, or they'd forgotten about it. And, right now we have a team who are at South by Southwest, so it's really just letting people experience the brand and the products. Right.
And so what's your hopes? You've been on the job now for a while. You've been seeing the fruits of your efforts and labor. The packaging looks absolutely beautiful. What are some of the goals for 2018 for the brand?
Well, just, expand awareness, expand sales. We're now at Saks and Neiman's and Liberty of London. So those are new distribution for us, and we just want to continue to be a strong partner and share the new product.
And you said that you're at Saks, and where else?
Neiman Marcus.
Okay.
And then Liberty of London. So
okay.
That's new distribution for us.
And are you also exploring professional salon?
That is very interesting for us. It is something we're exploring, because we know when people experience the product in the professional environment, it just resonates so much more. If you know, when the salon professional uses the product, you know, it's just complete validation. So that's very, very important to us.
Right. Okay. As you look back on your career and where you're at this particular point, is there something that you think back on in terms of what the beauty industry has meant to you and how it continues to keep you inspired?
Oh, I love how the beauty industry has evolved. You know, I love that the wellness piece is so important now, and it's really, I think beauty improves people's lives in so many ways, and I think it always has, but I think it just continues to evolve, and it really integrates whatever's new. Beauty just integrates it and makes it its own, and that's why it's continually inspiring me. It's always fresh.
Right. That's it. It is always fresh, and I love what you said. Beauty improves people's lives in many ways, and I love the journey. Well, thank you, Sara. I appreciate you taking some time to stop by. Tell us a little bit about Borghese. We're excited about learning more and experiencing the product, which I now have. So we're doing our little testing, and we look forward to sharing our comments and continuing to support your success.
Thank you, Patty. Thank you so much for having me today. I've really enjoyed it.
All right. Talk with you soon. And the rest of you, stay with us. We will be right back with Sara Dudley, the Executive Director of Sunscreen Company.
Here's the thing about beauty. It's pretty. At AmericanMadeBeauty.com, we're all about the pretty, making it easy for you to find what makes your beauty shine. We have essentially everything you need, and AmericanMadeBeauty.com celebrates brands that were created right here in the U.S. of A. Imagine everything you need from the best hair, skin, and nail products to makeup and even the tools, because it's all about pretty at AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We also think you're pretty important, so visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com. Browse, buy, learn. AmericanMadeBeauty.com.
For all your live or pre-recorded webcasting needs, come to earthchannel.com. Get your web-based message out to a select group or the whole world. It's easy. A pioneer in webcasting, earthchannel.com provides the best products and services to big corporations and government users. And now this same technology is available to you. They have the best Earthcast encoders, servers, and products to meet your technical needs. But wait, don't want to mess with technical stress? No problem. They'll do it for you. EarthChannel.com is your answer. You can use webcasting for lots of things like advertising, marketing, customer support, training, and don't forget web radio and TV. In fact, you're listening to a live Earthcast right now. So come to EarthChannel.com. Actualize your audio or video webcasting needs today. You can't beat the friendly service or the price. Call EarthChannel.com at 1-800-849-8978. That's 1-800-849-8978.
We're looking for a few good American beauty manufacturers who want to increase their brand in an exclusive credentialed category. If you're an American company who has conceived, designed, and bottled brands that are all about pretty, then we're pretty sure we're talking about you. And we're pretty sure you should be on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. This beauty website focuses on entrepreneurs and beauty startups as well as established brands. If it's pretty, we want to see it, and we want to sell it on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. To learn how you can be part of AmericanMadeBeauty.com, visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com now.
When you're looking for bedding, department store prices can shock you. Well, be shocked no more. Sell steak cheap, not cheap steak. That's the motto of Anna's Linens. Although they don't sell steak, they do sell the best bedding, bath, and home decor items. They strive to provide their merchandise at extreme value to their customers, and they do it. Great everyday prices on everything and military discounts. Plus, if you visit them online, they have clearance items and internet specials. Visit them online now at HealthyLife.net's advertiser page.
Radio your way. HealthyLife.net.
Hey, thanks for staying with us. This is Patty Schmucker, here at RadioAMB on HealthyLife.net. And I am delighted to have our second guest today, Sara Dudley, the Executive Director of the Sunscreen Company. Sara's been working with the Sunscreen Company since 2008 and helped to get the company operational after 15 years of pure research and development by the original company founders, which included her physician parents and the company chemist. Sara, when I researched your company, I was impressed by the story of how you joined your parents to build the company, and now you have these 3 different brands under the Sunscreen Company. Can you tell us what made you interested in joining the company that your parents started?
Oh, sure, yeah. Thank you very much for having me. Well, so I actually, in 2008, had just graduated with a master's in political science. I was working in Washington. I was all set to get a career in the political arena. But I knew that this company, which had been in existence, like you said, for 15 years, just creating these formulas, my parents would take them home and they would try them on us. I knew it was there and it had so much potential, and it was just the ability, the freedom to sort of try something that, I didn't have experience with, but knew that if I could have a chance, maybe we could put something great into a bottle. So they took a chance on me. I was very lucky, and within a year we had 3 products, one of which is the earliest iteration of our Every Morning Sun Whip, SPF 25, which is still one of our most popular sunscreen formulas. And that's really what got the ball rolling. It's what people started to really respond to and say, hey, I didn't know sunscreen could be like this. I didn't know about the story of sunscreen, and wanted to learn more about us as a company.
And so tell us, what is it that, because your whole story is really built around sunscreen, and yet I was surprised when I was doing my research to discover, hey, there's a lot more here than a sunscreen. So how does it center around sunscreen?
So it goes right back to when my parents first started the company in 1995. Sunscreen was the impetus for what got them sort of down this rabbit hole of discovery. It began really, a pregnant patient came to my father who was a high-risk OBGYN and endocrinologist, so he worked with fertility and endocrinology in prenatal care. And she brought him a sunscreen and said, is this safe to use in pregnancy? And he said, well, what do you mean? It's not something that he had ever thought of. And this was before the green beauty movement, where we started to think more about what you put on your body, how it could affect your internal health. So he said, let me look into this. I don't know. And actually, in parallel, they were doing some additional studies where they took some fetal blood sample, and they found one of the most common sunscreen ingredients, oxybenzone, in it. So that started a whole area of investigation, and my mom, who's a dermatologist who had a very busy practice, was seeing some of the, areas of concern with current sunscreens that she had in her practice. So they were UVB biased. The UVA ingredients were breaking down in sunscreen. UVA was becoming more and more well known for having real implications when it came to skin cancer, more so than even UVB, more than what they knew. So with those 2 sorts of areas of concern, my parents got together, they joined up with our chemists, and they really began to investigate conventional sunscreens and then what zinc oxide could bring in terms of, a better solution. So that became the area of expertise, but we still, focus on all aspects of the skin. We, all the ways that you can nourish it and cater to it, things that you might see in a dermatologist practice, like pigmentation or redness. But even things, just that are nice for the skin, like a really great cleanser, or, how can we approximate things like almost prescription. So, like with our new retin erase, it's a more innovative version of prescription retinoid. So, it's just when you start to get really interested in what's out there and the actives that are out there, and you learn more about formulations and how to keep them really tight and curated. We've expanded now to, what's almost 14 products and 3 product lines.
Right. So, and I think it's awesome, but let's go back to the sunscreen. So you mentioned the whole idea that there was discovery that there were these various different types of chemical, we'll call them more synthetically made ingredients that were found that are commonly used in sunscreens, that they were showing up in the tissue of fetus. And both in humans as well as in our water system, these various different types of ingredients have downstream complications. Is that's the main focus of your brand, right?
Yeah. So it's definitely it's two sides. So yes, we know for a fact that many of these conventional filters do get into your body, and it's a very simple scientific precept that when you're designing a drug, let's say you want it to act topically on the skin, you know it has to be above a certain molecular weight. If you want it to enter your blood, it has to be below. So these filters are very small molecular weight, and we know they absolutely will get into your body. The question about their impact is where we sort of are getting into evolving science. But even so, for example, the Center for Disease Control in the U.S. took a sample population of 2,000 people, and that population, 97% of them had oxybenzone in their urine. So these filters are definitely getting in, and the question then is, what is their potential impact? And I think the potential impact, so that you're not fear-mongering, is to say there are certain population or demographics where we're more vulnerable to potential endocrine disruption, which is things that mimic your natural hormones. So things like fetuses or, infants, teenagers that are going through puberty. Those are what we call critical windows in life where you're much more vulnerable to these potential effects. And so, our theory is, well, let's just use the litmus of safety where if it's safe enough for pregnant women to use, it's safe enough for us all to use every single day. And, you have a choice. Like, when it comes to sunscreens, there are other options out there that don't have the same safety implications. So, and they're actually better sunscreens to boot. That's the other thing. Like, in terms of UVA efficacy, really, truly broad spectrum protection, they're better options. So if you give consumers the choice and you sort of educate them about the possible risks without fear-mongering again, that's what we're recognizing, that people are really happy to have the choice.
Right, exactly. And so what specifically about zinc oxide stands ahead of the class over all of the other filters that are used in sunscreens?
Yeah, so zinc oxide, especially for North America, where we're sort of limited in the access of filters that we have, it's one that, you use on your children, you use them on your baby's bottom because it is very soothing, just naturally. It's great for the skin, anti-inflammatory. We've used it since the early 90s, but fortunately we've become much more evolved when it comes to the aesthetics so that people are actually willing to wear it on their face every single day. It is, in all forms, a large, what we call particulate grade filter. So it is well above that 500 Dalton threshold that I mentioned, molecular weight, things that sit on the skin. Certainly intact skin, there's lots of studies to show that it's going to sit on top of the skin and be protective. And it's the only ingredient that we have in North America that is UVB and UVA protective. All the other ones you sort of need to combine to get some sort of protection. And it's not to say that it's perfect. There are limitations to zinc oxide in the sense that you need to use a lot of it to get protection. So we're talking from 15 to 25% in order to get ideal protection. But we're finding ways to make it better. We're not only from the aesthetic point of view, but from a protection point of view. And then our hope we get access to European filters, and we find ways to combine them so that we really are getting the best sunscreen worldwide.
All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll dive into this subject a little bit more because this is important information, and understanding how it does process through the body really helps us to get the best protection in a long-term way. So stay with us, and we will be back with Sara in just a moment.
Here's the thing about beauty. It's pretty. At AmericanMadeBeauty.com, we're all about the pretty, making it easy for you to find what makes your beauty shine. We have essentially everything you need, and AmericanMadeBeauty.com celebrates brands that were created right here in the U.S. of A. Imagine everything you need from the best hair, skin, and nail products to makeup and even the tools, because it's all about pretty at AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We also think you're pretty important, so visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com. Browse, buy, learn. AmericanMadeBeauty.com.
When you're looking for bedding, department store prices can shock you. Well, be shocked no more. Sell steak cheap, not cheap state. That's the motto of Anna's Linens. Although they don't sell steak, they do sell the best bedding, bath, and home decor items. They strive to provide their merchandise at extreme value to their customers, and they do it. Great everyday prices on everything and military discounts. Plus, if you visit them online, they have clearance items and internet specials. Visit them online now at HealthyLife.net's advertiser page.
We're looking for a few good American beauty manufacturers who want to increase their brand in an exclusive credentialed category. If you're an American company who has conceived, designed, and bottled brands that are all about pretty, then we're pretty sure we're talking about you. And we're pretty sure you should be on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. This beauty website focuses on entrepreneurs and beauty startups as well as established brands. If it's pretty, we want to see it, and we want to sell it on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. To learn how you can be part of AmericanMadeBeauty.com, visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com now.
HealthyLife.net, where positive overcomes negative.
Welcome back. This is Patty Schmucker, and you're listening to RadioAMB on HealthyLife.net. I'm here with Sara Dudley, the Executive Director of the Sunscreen Company, and we've been talking about how her parents, for many years, both as physicians, found high-risk patients who began stimulating their thoughts around how topically applied products could, in fact, have some long-term health implications, and that really was the catalyst of this company starting. So we were talking before the break about zinc oxide, and that being one of the ingredient here in the United States that can be used. Is it that gives you both UVA and UVB filters or protection? Is one of the other benefits for zinc oxide is that if it is absorbed in the body, it doesn't accumulate, and what does accumulate is actually naturally found in the body, so it actually is beneficial?
Yeah, so our studies have actually shown that really in terms of permeation into the body, at least if you're putting it on your skin, there's virtually none. So it is a really large particle, even in nano size. I think what people don't understand is that even nanoscale zinc oxide, in the world of sunscreen, nano is huge. That's what we always say. It's really large. It's sitting on the skin. Certainly intact skin, there's no issue whatsoever. And even studies are starting to show that for skin that might not be 100% attacked, maybe because of acne or because of a treatment, zinc is still really not getting to the bloodstream like the other conventional filters are. So from that point of view, there's no concern. And then, like you said, it's something that is actually quite good for the skin, too, from an anti-inflammatory point of view, from a calming point of view, which is why we use it in diaper cream.
Right.
We've used it from the get-go, for all of our families.
And now with your product, one of the other problems with zinc oxide is that the darker the skin, the more ashy or gray it can use as a result of the amount of zinc oxide. Is that a problem?
Yeah, so for us, we always, one of our main things was, it's a great product, but if it's stuck in the tube because nobody thinks it looks aesthetic, then there's no point to it. So aesthetics have always been as high a concern for us as safety and efficacy. They're 100% combined in terms of importance. So in terms of all skin tones, zinc oxide can actually be quite aesthetic. It can be 100% transparent with no sort of, like you said, ashy tone to any kind of skin tone. That's the beauty of zinc oxide, especially the form that we use. It uses a specific technology that's called index matching. So it has nothing to do with the particle size, really. It's in terms of the actual particle blending with what it's dispersed in. So it's transparent on all skin tones, which is very important because all skin tones need to use sunscreen. So you don't want to have some people say, oh, this product's not for me.
Yeah, and that is a big misconception for the darker the skin, that that it's not necessary to use sun protection. But the very dark skins are very sensitive to light, as well as at the end of the day, as the environment is changing, we want to block out both UVA and UVB rays that are permeating the tissue and having long-term effect on the tissue. So I think that's. Yeah. So, Sara, tell us a little bit about what are the 3 different brands that you are now managing?
Yeah, sure. So, Cyberderm is our original clinical line. I call it our curated clinical because that's what we started with. That's where the original sunscreens came out of, and we've built other cosmetic products, or I call them cosmetic, but they're skincare products that really address what a physician might see or a professional might see in their professional environment. They're simple, but they speak to specific needs. We then have Ava Iza, which will be launching very soon. It's our tinted sunscreen line, and that is dedicated to the idea that it's actually named after my daughter, Ava Isabella. The idea being that young women are a demographic that are specifically sort of in peril right now. We're seeing a blip of increased skin cancer as being the number 1 cancer killer for young women 25 to 30. And if you think about it, that's really strange. Like, why would that young a woman have skin cancer at that point? And we know it's tanning beds, but it's also the use of poor sunscreens. So if we can get great sunscreens into this demographic hands, we think we can really push the needle on that statistic. So part of how we're doing that is with tints. So we make them really aesthetic, really ultra matte. They dry down on the skin beautifully, and then people aren't choosing a primer per se. They're using a great sunscreen, and they're making that a habit from an early age. And then finally, Naturally Boutique is our what I call our luxury natural line, but it brings 2 worlds together that don't necessarily always speak together. So the dermatologist's office meets the green beauty world. And it just means that we don't use things like fragrances, whether they're natural or not. We don't use essential oils. It's a different way of approaching green beauty, where some of the things that a dermatologist thinks is important from, let's say, an allergen point of view or even just efficacy, if we use an active, we use it in a high concentration in the same way we would our clinical line. So there's 3 product lines. They're really diverse, but at the end of the day, we still bring that same scientific approach, but we make sure that they're also really kind of lovely to use every day. That's always important to us.
And I love the whole idea. Now, again, I want to make sure that I pronounce these 3 brands. So the very first brand is, say that name again.
It's Cyberderm. The original clinical line.
Cyberderm.
Cyberderm. It was created back in the 90s when the internet was still kind of coming out, and cyber was like, oh my God, this is the new thing. So my parents came up with Cyberderm, and they're dermatologists, so everything has the word derm in it.
Okay.
Cyberderm. Yeah.
And then the line for after your daughter is
Ava Iza. Yeah.
Ava Iza, okay. And then the third line, and I say that one again, because this one is really intriguing to me, enough so that I gave you a call this morning and said, I really want to talk about this today.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, so it's Naturally Boutique. And that comes from the idea, so I don't know, like in the early 2000s you had cosmetics. They became cosmeceuticals. Vitamins, which is now a huge movement in the wellness thing, is used at one point nutraceuticals, right? So it's like pushing the envelope of what these products were doing. So with Naturally Boutique is the idea that we're taking the natural world and we're blending it with a medical one. So that's how we came up with Naturally Boutique.
Great. Well, we are out of time, which bums me out because I have like 10 more questions. I would love to have you send me some information that we can put on our site as to why specifically no synthetic or fragrances. What is the piece there? And I'm saying fragrances in terms of natural aromas like essential oils. So if you could send me a follow-up, I would love to do that, and we'll post that on the blog that we do for this show. Thank you, Sara, for being with us. We really appreciated having you here today.
Oh, thank you for having me. I loved it.
Well, and for all of you, thanks for being with us as well. Next week, join us again as we talk about international. We will have a company by the name of Ecomundo, and their director will be with us to talk about how do American brands take their products internationally and what is required by international brands, foreign brands coming into America. Very interesting business story that you'll want to hear, and as a consumer wanting to understand how you should be shopping for brands that come from outside of the United States. I'm Patty Schmucker. Thank you for listening to Radio AMB, where we think pretty is pretty important in all things in beauty.
For all your live or pre-recorded webcasting needs, come to earthchannel.com. Get your web-based message out to a select group or the whole world. It's easy. A pioneer in webcasting, earthchannel.com provides the best products and services to big corporations and government users. And now this same technology is available to you. They have the best Earthcast encoders, servers, and products to meet your technical needs. But wait, don't want to mess with technical stress? No problem. They'll do it for you. EarthChannel.com is your answer. You can use webcasting for lots of things like advertising, marketing, customer support, training, and don't forget web radio and TV. In fact, you're listening to a live Earthcast right now. So come to EarthChannel.com. Actualize your audio or video webcasting needs today. You can't beat the friendly service or the price. Call earthchannel.com at 1-800-849-8978. That's 1-800-849-8978.
Here's the thing about beauty. It's pretty. At AmericanMadeBeauty.com, we're all about the pretty, making it easy for you to find what makes your beauty shine. We have essentially everything you need, and AmericanMadeBeauty.com celebrates brands that were created right here in the U.S. of A. Imagine everything you need from the best hair, skin, and nail products to makeup and even the tools, because it's all about pretty at AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We also think you're pretty important, so visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com. Browse, buy, learn. AmericanMadeBeauty.com. Obstacle racing. You know you want to try it. Well, try Reebok's Spartan Race, the global leader in obstacle racing. With 4 different race levels, their goal is to get you up off the couch and throw you into the mud and on the trails to give you the adrenaline rush of your life. Obstacle courses are designed to test your resilience, strength, stamina, quick decision-making skills, and give you the ability to laugh in the face of adversity. Visit HealthyLife.net advertiser page and click on Spartan Race.
HealthyLife.net, the positive radio network.